Utah Governor Spencer Cox urging Americans to log off and touch grass after graphic video of the assassination of political activist Charlie Kirk spread rapidly online. Joining us now with reaction is former CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield. Doctor, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike.
So to the governor of Utah's point, let's play this clip and I'll get you to react, sir.
I believe that social media has played a direct role in every single assassination and assassination attempt that we have seen over the last 5-6 years. There is no question in my mind that cancer probably isn't a strong enough word.
Doctor, do you have similar concerns?
Very much so. You know, we saw this obviously during the pandemic where a lot of people got very isolated. With that isolation, we saw greater mental illness issues, depression, suicide. I'm very concerned that there seems to be a reluctance to have honest dialogue. And I think these social media outlets have a tendency to allow people to dehumanize situations and lack the ability to communicate with one another.
From a New York Times op-ed today on our poisonous internet, quote, "To be a young person on large areas of the internet, in other words, is to exist in a state of perpetual conflict where every action, every event is coded with political significance, couched in irony or presented in a combative posture, starting from the moment one goes online." What is your assessment?
Yeah, I think that's true. We're really losing the ability to communicate. You know, when I was young, you know, what I would do after school was I would go play ball and interact with my kids in my neighborhood. Today, a lot of people get online by themselves. They're not interacting with anybody. There's no attempt to have any reservation about what people say and do. As I said, I think it really has allowed a lot of dehumanization. I think, you know, Charlie Kirk was really important in really highlighting the importance to have honest dialogue and to do that about difficult subjects. Even if we disagree, we didn't do it disagreeably. And hopefully, you know, as this moment in time in our country, it will begin to turn back, that we have some honest discussions with each other.
Then with cameras everywhere these days, there are the images of Charlie Kirk being fatally shot, of a young woman being stabbed to death on a metro train in Charlotte. What about the impact of those images on our brains? Can we handle them?
You know, it's a good question, Mike. I do think it's challenging. I have to admit, I didn't really want to watch the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but I did see it once. In a way, I wish I hadn't seen it at all. I do think this is part of the gradual progression of dehumanization of our interrelationship with each other. When you saw the young woman stabbed on that bus or subway, when you saw Charlie Kirk assassinated, this is really, I think, a lack of really human interaction, which again I think is facilitated by our movement to everything is on social media, everything's on the internet. People aren't interacting with each other in a way that I would argue is more healthy for our mental health and for our society.
And as a father, makes you wonder about the impact on our children.
Very much so. I have 14 grandchildren, you know, and to see this kind of violence that is right there and up front, I do think it's going to have consequences. I know myself, you know, my father died when I was 5. I was the first one to find him. He unfortunately didn't wake up. I remember that moment to this day.
Dr. Robert Redfield, thank you very much for doing this difficult segment. It's great to see you, sir.
Thanks, Michael. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.